posted. Alright, I'm done. I'll revisit this old script I got before I go to bed. Alright, what is going on now?
Tiny! Have you checked on Glomble?
Uh, what? Okay, but surely YouTube is not. What? What? Hello, you may call me Tiny. Where in the daylights did all you've come from? Seriously, thank you so much for your support from the previous video. I will be eternally grateful for this overnight crowd, oh goodness me. Right after I posted the video, I decided to dig up an old script from last year that I scrapped due to demotivation on editing the video. However, this is a subject that I have been really interested in for as long as I could remember. So I am here today to rework this script for you all to see, or hear. So today we will be talking about character designing and the basics on how to dabble it. This is supposed to be less of a rule book of do's and don'ts and more like a guideline or suggestions if you're stuck and need a place to start from. I am not a professional, I am just a nerd, and I'm self-taught, so take that as you will. Now, without further ado, let's begin. So, before you start with your character design, you'd have to think of their purpose. What are they for? A story to fill in a role? A design that you want to sell? Or do you just want to try and make a design that you're happy with, without worrying about story and lore? To me, there are two categories of this. Zero lore, just a design, or full of lore and has a story to belong in. Let's focus on the first one. No lore, just designs and vibes. From there, you can solely focus on the following: color palette, fashion design, and body proportions. And if you don't know where to go from there, I hear you. I understand. Don't worry, this will be a lot easier than you think. First, you gotta think of the vibes of your character, their aesthetics basically. Look up for mood boards or art challenges to get you somewhere that you could start from. And remember, you have free will. Whatever you want in your character design can stay if you can have fun with it. Don't worry about the cringe. Kill the part that cringes is all I'm saying. Let's say you want a cute character, childish and fun. You'd want to lean towards bright and vibrant colors for your character, and have their fashion style be soft and fluffy with cute animals or bow motifs around their design. For their proportions, maybe let them have softer and rounder features to give off a friendly and cutesy vibe. Basically, utilize shape language. You don't have to make your cute character to be a literal circle. I mean, in a more subtle sense. Less sharp edges and rounded lines for your character would already do the trick. However, more questions and thinking will come in the picture if your character is for a story, with world building, lore, connections with people, etc. The elements from before still stands, but now you gotta ask yourself the following. Where would they be located in the world? What time period are they in? Why do they dress that way? Do their outfits or accessories have a history or mean anything? If they have scars or injuries, how did it happen? Basically, have your character's story be shown through their appearance. Since I am biased and you have seen him before, I'd like to talk about my character Ace Reverie. If you aren't in the know, don't worry, I showed a speed paint of the boy in the previous video, and all I said was that he's my OC, or original character, and he's in a story of mine called Starfall. Let's look at his design and see what we can read, shall we? From the ears and tail, you'd be able to tell that he's non-human, and is some kind of wolf or fox from the long pointy ears and long fluffy tail. He's actually both, a mix of the two. A foxhound, if you will. Just to clarify, he is not based on actual foxhounds, I just thought it's funny. His outfit is quite fancy and leaning towards the typical medieval fantasy kind of clothing, resembling a performer of some kind. Presumably a dancer, as he got a coattail, is that a word? The flowy bits at the end of his top that would flare up to emphasize one of the dance moves. His nails may hint some importance too, as all of his nails are painted in a dark shade of blue except for the pinky fingers being gold. With all of those details, even if you don't know who he is nor know how Starfall works, you'd at least be able to tell that Ace is a humanoid fox wolf hybrid thing that works as a performer or a bard, which he is. He sings and dances for townsfolk and I adore him, he's really sweet. Now, I want to make a huge point to focus back on the question, why do they dress that way? There's a fun little secret that really helps out your own character design. Be mindful of how your character wants to be seen and dressed like. If you were to go outside and cross the street, or take a walk in the mall, you'd see a lot of strangers. Strangers that you know nothing about. Occasionally, you'd see one of the coolest people you've ever seen. Flashy, stands out from the crowd, and you could only admire them from afar due to social anxiety pulling you back from talking to them. However, you'd notice a lot of the time people sort of dress similarly, or blends into the crowd. Even those people would have cute little trinkets on their bags of characters that they like sometimes. This is mostly for stories that's set in the modern world, but any other kinds of worlds would work, I believe. If you're mindful about how your character chooses the way they dress, even if they look plain and simple, I'd argue that it still works as it tells the audience something about your own character still. I don't want to use my OCs too much as an example, unless you guys are okay with it, but Miyu Suzuki and Yusuke Tani from You and I Are Polar Opposites are perfect representations of this. The two are, well, as the title would say, polar opposites of each other when it comes to the way they present themselves. Miyu has her hair dyed in a bright pink with heart earrings, giving off the idea of an extroverted popular girl who seemed loud and expressive. With the two, you can tell that she is the talkative one of the duo. In contrast, Yusuke kept his natural hair and has a classic pair of glasses without anything else going on. He dresses like how a typical student would, except for the unbuttoned collar on his uniform, though every other male character does that too. He gives off the impression of someone quiet and doesn't find the need or want to stand out from the crowd and would tell the audience that he is the introvert of the duo. If you watch the anime, their personality shines even more and basically almost confirms the audience's assumptions immediately. They are adorable. And if you haven't, I highly recommend watching it if you are a fan of rom-coms, slice of life stories that's simple and fun to watch. Now, usually, this would be the end of the video by now. But there's actually one very important thing that I want to point out. If you're designing a character, don't add too many details to the point of confusion. Less is more, and I will explain exactly why right now. When people say that a character is over-designed or too detailed, usually they'd immediately use Genshin Impact as a big example, which the characters and their overly detailed designs that they could get away from due to the fact that they are a 3D game, but very hard to make fan art for as people tend to get confused with the details. Sometimes, this is an issue that a lot of beginners immediately run into, as they're usually under the impression that the more detailed they are, the better their designs would be. And maybe there are some truths to it. Again, character design can be quite opinionated and personal for each individual, and very subjective, yes. But if you have to go through the headache of looking at your character sheet and putting every tiny nook and cranny in it, you're just gonna get frustrated. A lot of the time, you don't even need a lot of details to make your character look cool. You just need to add just enough that is easy to read and easy to replicate. And I think I have the perfect example for a character like that, Grim or Casper from A Date with Death. Looking at his design, there is just enough details to rail in the cool factor, and the different value of colors that separate different parts of the design quite nicely. His white ghostly hair, red eyes, and ghostly pale skin is the first thing that draws the eye. Though do not be confused, he's not a ghost, he's a Grim Reaper. Looking down, his outfit is generally black, but in different shades of gray that makes the clothing easier to read, with the lighter gray coat and extra details in the outfit, along with belts in the same shade of red on the palms of his gloves and his dangly belt. The design is refreshing and quite edgy. He doesn't need more grommets or belts to show the audience that he's cool and edgy, because this is just enough that it frames his character and how he presents himself, without being a pain in the butt to draw over and over again. His assassin-esque look and the accent of red tells enough information without overwhelming one's eye. And I love him! This is also another game I recommend. It's free on Steam, and they got another from the franchise coming out soon, so yay! Another one for the romance people, we go! Now, we have finally reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'm making sense of all these points, but again, this is just a guide and suggestions for character design, not a straight rule that you must follow. Thank you so much again for the love you expressed in the previous video. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait to make more. Do you have any character design tips? Feel free to comment them down below. Or if you have any questions or things you want me to talk about, I can consider it and make a video on that. Thank you so much again for watching. I have been your local artist Tiny, and may you have a wonderful day every day. Bye!